Radio Solent. Very good morning from me, Julian Clegg. Now, there's growing concern about the amount of raw sewage which is being discharged into Langstone Harbour. The area between Portsmouth and Haley Island is popular with bathers and boat owners, and it's an important site for wildlife as well. Now a local cruising and boating club is warning its 750 members not to enter the water. Bob Evans is from Eastney Cruising Association, joining us this morning at our radio car beside Langstone Harbour today, and also joining us from the Langstone Harbour Board, Louise McCallum. So good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, thanks for being there. So, I mean, first of all, just explain for us, Bob, how sewage is ending up in Langstone Harbour.
Yeah, well, our clubhouse is immediately adjacent to the storm discharge pipe from Southern Water. They do discharge when the tide's running out, but unfortunately the tide turns every 6 hours, of course, and it comes back into the harbour. We get a lot of debris on the beach, tissues and sanitary ware and obvious other things that just wash up. We've got a lot of family members and a lot of young children that routinely use the water for recreation, and it's just unbelievable sometimes.
And you're contacting your members now because you're worried about the health risks and about them actually going in the water.
That's right. Last evening we published an email to 600, 700 members advising them not to go in the water during rainy periods or just after rainy periods. And this situation's been going on for a year or more, and I believe it's going to carry on until September 2015.
And what do you think about that?
Well, we're just shocking, appalled that the situation has got so bad and so frequent. Can I say that Langstone Harbour Board published discharge notices, and if you look on their website, on their water quality pages, you'll see 235 discharge notices in 2014. That's 225 days. So that's an average of more than one a day.
Now, I've got Southern Water on the show in the next hour. What's your message to them this morning?
Well, we understand no one's to see the city of Portsmouth floods. We understand they need to discharge occasionally, but the frequency and intensity of the discharge is not acceptable at the moment. And the other thing that maybe they can improve is the notification process. We're only told the day after, or possibly 2 days after the event, when this happens. If we knew when the discharges were happening in real time, that we could pass a message on by Twitter or by some other mechanism and let our members know that it's not safe to go into the water.
Well, I will pass that on to our guest in the next hour, and let's bring in Louise McCallum now, Environmental Officer from the Langstone Harbour Board. Louise, what are your concerns about this?
Well, I share the ECA's concerns about people going into the water, but as the Environment Officer for the Langstone Harbour Board, I also worry that sewage discharges may affect the wildlife that we have here. Langstone Harbour is internationally important as a wildlife sanctuary, and sewage discharges, as well as containing the things that you might obviously consider, also contain plastic wastes, pharmaceutical products, heavy metals, that kind of thing, and those can negatively impact wildlife.
Is it true you've seen dead rats on the shore?
It is true that in the storms back in February, when we had lots of very heavy rain in a very short period, that drowned sewer rats came out of the sewage pipes, and yeah, they did wash up on the shore.
Right. I know the Environment Agency questions whether that actually came from that outfall. What do you say to that?
Well, I've got no direct proof, but I think the number of rats and the fact that they were surrounded by other sewage items all points in the direction that it did come from that outfall. Yeah.
Now, this morning we're reporting, Louise, that basically the 750 members of the club are being advised not to go in the water. Would that be your advice to people listening this morning?
To be honest, I think that's a question for the Environment Agency. They're the people who test the water quality and advise people whether or not it's safe to go into the water. I think one thing I'd like to say is, obviously, I know that Southern Water are currently spending about £20 million improving their facility at Fort Cumberland, and I applaud that, and I can't wait for the repair works to be completed, because hopefully that's going to really improve this situation. But I think the kind of items that I see washing up on the shoreline are a bit of a wake-up call for all of us. The things people flush down the toilet are unbelievable, and I think all of us, as citizens of the coast, could really think about what we flush down the loo and dispose of items like sanitary waste, cotton buds, plastic items, basically, in a more responsible way.
Right, well, look, we'll pass on those thoughts to our guests from Southern Water in the next hour. Louise, thank you for being there, and indeed Bob, good to have you on the show too. Bob Evans from Eastern Cruising Association, and Louise McCallum, the Environment Officer for Langstone Harbour Board. And if you've got a view on that story, let us know. You can give us a call on 0345 30 39 61. And a good point to say, if you want to be a newsmaker and there's